Chris Landry, 4 to 4:30 on Mondays, NFL, college, and more. Chris, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Good, Jacob. How you doing, man?
We're doing good. Just chalking through things, reading some crazy scouting report from on. You know how X is, Chris. You can, or Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You can find anything you want out there and all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't expect you to talk about this from this aspect, but I was reading an excerpt in the last segment. Let me see. It's from, let me tell you who he is. Like, you may know the guy. It's an former NFL scout, and I have no idea what his credibility is like. None of that stuff. But it was on Caleb Williams, and I was reading it over the weekend. Let's see. There it is right here. And it's from a guy named Daniel Kelly, former Jet scout. Basically, I mean, he breaks this thing down and basically at the end of the day says, hey, look, stay away from Caleb Williams. He's a fourth-round pick. This is a disaster waiting to happen. But it's amazing the narratives and what you see, the varying of opinions of players at this time of year.
It is. It's one of the things that I think we've talked about, like at the Combine, which I just got back from last night, was, it's about medicals and as much as you can get to know these guys. The physical part of how well they play is not very difficult to ascertain. It's just, it's trying to find out what makes the guys tick. You can't ask a guy if they love football, they work hard. Of course, the answer is going to be yes. You have to ask things that's going to get you to the answer. And I think there's some interesting things in today's modern athlete. I'm old school. I think you and people that have listened to me here know that probably. But when I was the director of the Combine, it was a lot different. We didn't have a lot of things. Guys they all wanted to work out, and now it's a different world. And I think there's a lot of things, and I'm curious to see going forward. NIL is going to change this. So Caleb Williams, and I don't know, I can't verify this, but the reports are, and I'm not talking media reports, but reports inside USC is that he made over $10 million at USC in NIL. So he is, and his dad, Caleb Williams, has got a bit of a helicopter dad. So, these guys are going to be businessmen in college. So by the time they want to go to the NFL, it's like they've got experience. They're not willing to just do whatever, and I'm not quite sure he's the first guy in 42 years that never participated in the medical physicals. Now, he's going to have to take physicals with probably 3 to 5 teams. Why wouldn't you want to take one physical and be done with it? But is a little bit of a, I'm different. I'm better than everybody. I don't need to do what everybody else does because that's, something that would concern me a little bit. But I'd have to find out more about what is this guy like. Look, I just a quick example, when Ryan Leaf came out, Mike Price talked him up. Great guy, Chris. He's great. He's this, he's that. The people in Montana where he went to high school, not as excited about him. But you know what? At the Combine, I asked him. He came out the same year as Peyton Manning, and all Peyton Manning wanted to know in the interview was, how could he get one of those Betacam machines so he can begin to look at film? And those are not like the old Betacams you use in your house. These are like $200,000 machines that it's all digitized now. But he wanted, when you asked Ryan Leaf, he wanted to get his boys together. He wanted to take a trip to Jamaica. That was what he wanted to do. That's all they could talk about. There's nothing wrong with that, but it tells you a little bit where the mindset is. And, of course, Ryan Leaf went through some rough times personally, and he's actually doing what you do. He's hosting radio and doing stuff like that. So he's got his life together. But it's really more about what a guy does. And, listen, I think there's always that danger that somebody could flame out. I beg Al Davis and Bruce Kebrick of the Raiders, don't take Jamarcus Russell. I knew him just intimately very well, and I knew how lazy he was, and I knew that he was a bust waiting to happen. It wasn't like any brilliance on my part at all. It just was obvious to me, not so obvious to people who didn't know them. When you get to know these guys and you get to know the right people, that's when you can really determine what you have, because this is a big-time investment people are making.
Chris Landry on your radio, Monday edition of the program. And, of course, find him at Landry Football, LandryFootball.com.